Yeah, what happened, right? Like last year, the dude had this beard all the way down to his belly button, and now I don't know. Like,
Whoa!
all right, so we're working on Unity Go VROOM. This has been super fun for me. So we're looking at specifically, yes. Oh, nice. Yeah, we didn't want to see that. We're going to be looking at HingeJoints today. We played around with WheelColliders. I'm going to walk through kind of what he did in the video. TA, Matthew, would you drop in the chat the link to the other guy's video that I've got here? On the, just in the comments on the YouTube live stream. Go to the live stream. Grab this link. Make it a comment. Give this man some credit. This basic car movement. You good? Okay. All right. So we followed this on Tuesday. I've done it a couple times now. Super fun. And then we looked at this car that he used. I've got linked here. And then I pulled in a nice pre-built racetrack. And then I found a nice free truck and trailer that we're going to use for our hinge joint fun today. Okay, weird. We'll figure it out. You need to create a channel. Somebody will do it. Well, we'll just put it as something else. And then we're going to do a Cinemachine camera setup for this. So here's the video again that we used a couple weeks ago when we started playing with Cinemachine with our third-person characters. And then here's like a nice YouTube short where the guy does it in seconds. And so I'm going to probably follow that version. And then I did find this video. There's no audio. This gentleman, we hear his mouse clicks like crazy. And then like there's captions of what he's doing. But dude sets up exactly what we need. It's a really cool video. So he's making a whole separate scene here. He's got a car selection screen, and it's twirling the cars. You can hit next and select the cars. And then what he's doing, I thought was kind of genius. When he leaves that scene, he writes to the PlayerPrefs the index of the car that he chose, goes into the next scene, gets the index from PlayerPrefs, and knows which car to load in. So it's kind of cool. Like, it's a way to do it for sure. So anyway, so that's like a, I don't know, 20-minute video. Oh, it's only a 9-minute video. Okay. We'll get into that. So for the goals, we'll go through those really quick, and then we'll jump into Unity. So we want a menu scene. We want a car selection screen. This can be different. You can do your car selection on your menu, or you can do car selection as just an overlay in your scene or whatever. But if you follow this video, then the car selection can be its own scene and not just a screen. We're going to want 3 cars to choose from with different physics and handling. The first car and the trailer, we're going to ask that they have separate wheels that actually animate, as according to the video that we're going to link, or that we watched even. And then we'll use a hinge joint. I'll show how to do that to tow a trailer. We're looking for 2 tracks or levels, and one can be pre-built, but the second one needs to be at least designed by you with other people's stuff. And then we just talked about we're going to be using Cinemachine or something. If you want to write your own follow script for your camera or do something else, that's fine. I would throw up a little bit in my mouth if the camera is just a child of the car, which means we don't actually see the car move. We just see the world move around the car. That'd be awful. And then we talked about the gameplay is totally up to you. So pizza delivery driver, demolition derby, twisted metal style, like just drive around with guns on your car and blow away the other cars. Or actual, like what's that called? Racing. We could do that. So Gran Turismo, Mario Kart, Twisted Metal, GTA, all of that. Totally legit. And then we're not going to cover, but you should know already how to do sound effects and background music. All right. So let me see what I got going on here. I've got my test cars I've already done, and I'm just going to delete this and I'll start it over. So in Unity, I'm going to remove this component here. I've just got a camera, and I just brought in Caleb's hamster mobile. And I did some stuff to it as far as like moving around stuff in the prefab here and childing things right. But so I'm going to quickly, I'm going to redo what he did in the video. I'm going to try to do this without glasses. I'm realizing this is going to be interesting. I've got glasses. It's not, it doesn't fit the bit, so we're good. All right. So what he did in the video, and I've already got the script written, so it's going to make life easier, is he separated all the wheels out and gave them their own parent. So I'm just going to say, let's do this first. I'm going to do hamster mobile. I'm going to create an empty child, which should be at 0. I'm just going to call this wheel meshes. And again, this is kind of just a quick redo of what he did in the videos. So the meshes are here in their own deal. Same thing. I'm going to make a new empty child. WheelColliders. And then in that, a new empty child. Right, front. Add a wheel collider to this. The wheel collider is so cool. Like I was in awe. All right, zoom in on it. So one thing to note here, we figured out on Tuesday, the wheel collider is not going to show up if there's no rigid body on the parent. You just won't see it because it's all physics based. So coming here to the root for hamster mobile, I'm going to throw a rigid body on it. I'm going to set its weight to like 1,000, which is what the guy did in the video. And then leave the rest of that alone. And now when I come down here, you can almost see it. There it is. So there's the wheel. It's just a little circle. And so now I'm going to move this object into place. I'm going to use my ortho views here. What did I say this was? Right front. So I'm going to pull this down over here. I'm just going to try and line it up with the tire. As much as I can. It'll be kind of funny given the shape of those tires. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to round some numbers up. So 2.2, I get a negative 1.55, 1.55 and 1.9. All right, so I'm just going to copy it. So that's the right front. So I'm going to duplicate. Call this one left front. And then flip its x. So I'm going to go to negative 2.2. Watch your decimal. 22.2 wasn't it? All right. Interesting. This one looks a little outside the wheel, but it's okay. We'll stick at the same physics out of it. Okay. Well, we're going to blame Caleb for his dirt mobile here. It's all good. All right. I'm going to take left front and duplicate again. Left rear. Slide it back. And then duplicate one more time. Right rear, and I'll move it back on the X to 2.2. So we should have, there we go. They're kind of in place. All right. So I'm in prefab mode. Good. So that's all going to save. I'm going to, the script, follow along in the video. He didn't leave the actual script, so you just got to follow it and type it out. But I've got it here as wheel controller. So it's all set up, and I just need to tell it where all my stuff's at. So I'm going to tell it about the colliders first. So right front is front right. I'm just dragging all this stuff in. Back left, back right, and then I need to tell it which wheels are what as well. And I think those are going to line up. Back left, yeah, that looks like it makes sense. Making sure he named them right. All right, so back left, back right. front left. Okay, that's all set up. So we should have a car that goes vroom. I'm just going to test it and make sure it goes vroom, and then we're going to get our Cinemachine cammed up, and that will pretty much replicate what we did on Tuesday. That's exciting. I'm not touching any buttons. That's just okay. Nice. So the hamster did not survive. I don't know why. I really don't. So the wheel colliders are there. The wheel meshes are there. You know what I didn't check was the actual. Ah, that's fun. I have no mesh collider. There's no collider on it. So a rigid body without a collider apparently dances and then goes away. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this guy, we'll try a mesh collider. And it's finding that. We'll say convex. Okay. Since I was not in prefab mode, let me go ahead and save that. So then make that override, apply all. There we go. Try it again. I mean, the dancing hamster was kind of cool. All right. And I can go backwards, hit the brakes, go forwards, and we can see the wheels turning. And he crashes. Nice. All right, now let's set up our Cinemachine camera, and we'll be all caught up, and we'll start making trailers. So I'm going to come up here to Cinemachine. I've already got the package installed. Go through the package manager. It's going to do a virtual camera. This is different from the free look that we did in the third-person stuff. I kind of like this. This is a really simple way to do it. So I'm going to create a virtual camera, and then all I have to do is tell it what to follow. So I'm going to say hamster mobile is what it needs to follow. And I'll go ahead and use this same as what it needs to look at. And then right here, this follow offset, that's what we need to set. So was playing with this earlier, and I liked going up about 4 on the Y, so it's kind of up and behind. And then it's going to have to tilt down to look at the car, so that works. And then I'm going to keep it at -10 behind it. And that should be it for the camera setup. We can do a lot of, well, we'll do some other stuff here, but let's just make sure that works. Also, this shows up if your Cinemachine camera is selected in the hierarchy. Let's deselect it, and we're fine. Okay, maybe we can go farther back. Look at those wheels. Oh, that one flipped itself around. That's fun. Is it going to fit? Apparently there's no collider on that bridge. That's exciting. It works. You can see the camera pulling back when we're going super speedy. I had not tested this on the hamster car yet, so I'm glad it actually worked. And I'm going to try and hit something. Oh! And now the virtual camera doesn't quite know what to do. It's like, we'll settle here. Okay. So I'm going to pull the camera back a little bit and up a little bit. So I'm going to go back to select my CM VCam 1. I'm going to go back to like negative, 13. And we're just going to go up a little bit. So 4.5 in the Y. And the other thing I'm going to do, and sometimes this causes problems and sometimes it doesn't. So good luck. Cross your fingers. Pray. So I'm going to add the extension for Collider. So Cinemachine Collider. And let me see. Light against defaults, fine. I'm going to just try all this with the defaults. What this is going to do is it's going to literally put a collider on the camera and try to keep it from clipping into other things that have colliders. That bridge that we went through doesn't have a collider, so it won't have a problem there. But like it shouldn't. If I get up on the grandstands there, it should try to move around. So we'll just check that and make sure it works. Again, deselect it. try to swing around. Like, see, it tried to. It's trying really hard. So it's either like stuck in there, or now that I flipped the car, I can't do much. It tried. We're going to keep it. So on the Cinema Machine camera, I'm just using a regular virtual camera. All I did was add the, I'm on the wrong camera. Down here at the very bottom where it says add extension, I added Cinema Machine Collider. And there's lots of settings you can play with in there, but the default will kind of almost sort of work most of the time. All right, so that's my hamster. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I haven't done anything. Okay, that's all saved. I like my scene the way it is. And I'm going to show you some other, I'm going to drag this into my test cars vehicle here thing here. So I've done a few other cars, and I'll just unlock those. Oh, they're all there. Here we go. So I did the little cicada that the guy in the video did. I don't know what the deal is with this. It handles weird. I think the shape of it. We can look at how some of those work. And then I added a trailer to that. I've added trailers to this. I've got a floating. I'm going to turn everything off except that. I like my car, so I'm going to turn this off. The only thing we need to do is change what our camera's looking at each time. These and undo those, and then tell my Cinema Machine camera instead to follow this runabout. So follow that, look at that, and let me just show you this. So I found this on Sketchfab. I wish this was mine. It's not. So we've got a nice runabout from Deep Space Nine, and here's what I did. I added just the wheels. I added wheel colliders that big underneath it with no meshes to turn, and this thing acts like a hovercraft now. So super fun. At least it was for me, as I was hyperfixating. So if you want, your little land speeder from Star Wars or any other kind of hovercraft, F-Zero style, we can keep all the same physics using Wheel Collider. We just don't have to show it. This is fun. I like when it banks around the deal here. So one of your cars needs to have turning wheels. Another one of your cars needs to have turning wheels and a trailer with turning wheels. And then the third car, you can do stupid stuff like this. Oh, and we recovered, sort of. No. Oh, what happened? It's possible the wheels fell off. So there is, by default, a force threshold by which it'll just break wheels off, and especially in hinge joints and stuff. Or the wheels got stuck because it looks like I'm on the ground. So I think the wheels clipped through, and I'm just stuck. So I'm going to pretend that I meant to land there, and I'm going to disembark. All right, so that one's done. Let me just do this. So I'm going to take this. This one was fun. So I got the sci-fi car. This was another free one that I found. It's kind of cool, and just given its lowrider status, it can get hung up on stuff. But I figured out that playing with the center of gravity really impacts stuff. So if I come up to, it's in the rigid body. Yeah. So you can set by default. It's automatically center offset. Here we go. Center of mass. And by default, it's at 0 for that thing. And so for this car, its 0 is right underneath it. So it's got this one by default had a good center of mass. So it handled better. That's probably the problem with the cicada. Let me actually just unlock that and see if I can. There we go. The cicada is using an automatic center of mass, and it's living somewhere. Oh, it's further underneath? Maybe that's part of the problem. That's weird. But anyway, you can change the center of mass on your rigid body. So move it up and down. It won't show, but then your car will handle differently. So it's kind of a cool thing with rigid body and the wheel physics that we're doing. So I'm gonna hide this. I'll do a cruise with the sci-fi because I should have fixed the camera because it's the only one probably the only one I don't have a trailer attached to yet, or I'll attach it to the hamster mobile, I guess. We'll show what the trailer thing looks like if this ever launches. So the thing that I have my Cinemachine targeted on is disappeared. So now I'm just gonna watch my car go off. Come on back. With a fixed camera, it feels more like a remote control car. So that one's fun. All right. You know what? In honor of Caleb, we'll go ahead and we'll use the hamster mobile. It was fun. No, not play. Hit the wrong button. Okay, so we'll bring hamster mobile back. And I'm going to fix my camera to follow hamster mobile. I'll bet we could really confuse it if we told it to follow one thing and look at another thing. Get some interesting effects out of that. Yeah, this is a moving camera targeted at something else. All right, and so I already downloaded. I linked it on the page. I downloaded this guy. Oh, it's here. It's already open. This is free. It's got a trailer by itself as a prefab, and it's also got the truck. So it worked, and I'll show you what I already did to it, and we'll just set this up. So I've got the trailer prefab for this. I just jammed all of my stuff into another folder. So I've got my single detailed truck that I grabbed, and then up in here in prefabs, it's got a trailer. And I already did some stuff to the trailer. So I turned off the LOD group. I'm just going to drag this in. Perfect. It's in the pit. Nice. I'm going to try and line this up with my hamster mobile because that's about the goofiest thing I can think of for this whole scenario. All right. And we'll try this out. So test cars. Trailer doesn't have to be there. Zeroed. So hamster is at, I'm going to just set something up nice. So 125. We're going to set them up in the air at 4. And we'll just keep them at negative 25 on the Z. So I'm going to now copy the position of this and apply it to the trailer. So paste position, and now I need to rotate it. Yeah, this is going to look super dumb. I'm excited. Pull them down. So you want to kind of line them up before you set the joint. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, it looks good-ish. Come up with this a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to go into the prefab here on the trailer and show you what I did. So I moved some stuff around, and on this guy, it's got wheels already, and each wheel is the full, like 4 wheels on an axis, which is fine. I just added a wheel collider as a child component to each of those, so you can see they all have wheels, and that helps in pulling this trailer. So hinge joints are great. It'll follow whatever you've got it. It's set to follow. Since I'm doing a car, pulling a trailer, I could not have wheels on this, and it'd be like trying to drag a trailer that didn't have wheels. Like the physics are pretty good. So we want to put the wheel collider on there so it moves. So that's all set up. So that's what I've done so far while you weren't looking. So the trailer here, I'm just going to add one more thing to this. It's got a rigid body on it. Let's pull down here. Add component, and we're going to look at hinge joint. There it is. And it is, since it's got a rigid body, parents can have a rigid body. So I just need to say, what are you connected to? And so I set this up kind of the way I want them to be positioned. So I'm just going to drag hamster mobile over here and say, that's what you're connected to. And honestly, we could leave it there and see what, well, let's do that. Let's just see what kind of chaos that creates for us. Yeah. The thing being towed is what you want to put the hinge joint on, right? So it's kind of independent, and then you just say, which thing am I following? Yeah. So we'll look settings for that here really quick, but I just want to show, just by default, adding a hinge joint and telling it to have a parent. The heck? It's weighing me down now. I don't know what happened. Oh, I do know what happened. All right. So by default, the hinge joint is wonky. So it wants to rotate on the x-axis, which is the red axis here. So it just kind of flipped up over us because it's got wheels and it's got a rigid body on it that is only set to 1. Remember when we did that in the video when the guy had put the wheel colliders on his rigid body that's only set to 1 mass, the car just bounced up in the air. So since this has no mass and it has wheels on it, it hit the ground and flipped over on top of us because it's set to move on the x-axis. So I'm going to change that first. I'm going to change that to 0, and we're going to say move on the y-axis. So you can just kind of see that right there. So we just want it to pivot that way. And then I'm also going to give it, if I set this too high, then I can't pull it. So I'm going to set this to like 100. That my 1,000 pound, 1,000 ton, whatever, kilogram hamster mobile can pull. And let's see if that's better. Oh, yeah, yeah, because my camera's like back here in the truck, basically. It's in the trailer. So I'm just going to pull my Cinemachine camera up to like 6. We'll go higher. Yeah. So down here with the collider, collide against, and you can use all your different layers. So everything's on the default by default, so it's colliding with everything. But you can say, we don't care about the trailer, and like set up a new layer that has not the trailer in it and say, just follow that. All right, I'm going to try to set the camera higher, and we'll see what that does.
Oh, sorry. I just was curious if you could set up the thing to have a hinge like underneath it, where it actually connected to the connector and just push it up.
I'm going to, well, I'll show that next.
Okay.
Yeah. I think my trailer doesn't have enough mass, and so it's bouncing on the ground as I'm trying to pull it. You can see it pivoting kind of a little bit the right way. Or more weight to the trailer, but it was already hard to pull. All right, let's look at the pivot thing that Austin was asking about first. I'm going to go down to my trailer and hinge joint. So by default, this says auto configure connected anchor. So the thing I'm connected to, or I can manually set that. And then my anchor right here, I can set up, and we should have a visual representation of that if I can find it. It's like down underneath. I'm just going to set this to 0. And you can barely see it. So see that little yellow twig inside my green twig? That's my anchor. So I can move that around. So I'm going to move that up. And it does look just almost like a little tow hitch. And then I can move it forward and say we're going to connect to imaginary hitch right there. And then with connected anchor set up to be automatic, then it moves that anchor down to it as well. And so that I don't know why you would do it otherwise. But now that I don't have it set up, it's at 0 somewhere. See if I can find its pivot. Well, so that's the one from the trailer. Now there should be a second one now that I'm playing with this. Just looking to see it moving somewhere. It's really hard to see these little gizmos and widgets. Let's see if we can. No, it's not going to affect that widget. That stinks. Okay. Anyway, set that to auto configure and then set these back to 0. And then it'll just kind of move itself. So now they're in the same spot with auto configure on. Now actually it's there. Now maybe I can move it. There it is. I can see it just barely. Tiny little guy right up in there. I haven't played enough to know exactly what having them in different spots do, so I just try to line them up so we got a single pivot. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is come down here, and there's check boxes and fun stuff all over. So I can set up a spring so that it's like a little swingier and bouncier. But I'm going to set up limits. So I'm going to click on use limits. And then I'm going to say maybe you can only go to like a -30 and a +30 on your min and max. So it won't like flip around me and jackknife. So it's only going to go that many degrees either way. Tons of things to play with here. I think I decided I wanted to try to up the mass. We'll see if I can pull it. I know if it's the same mass as the car, like the car's like, nah, forget it. Can't do it. All right, so that's the hinge joint. Let's see if this kind of gets us where we want to go. And I'll show you some other nonsense I played with. So if I try to pivot in here, like you can see, you can only go so far now. It won't swing all the way around. Maybe I want to go more than 30 on either one. But it's following, it's pivoting right where we set that kind of hinge point. And also, when you go into the pit on this track, you can get stuck, especially with the giant trailers. So if I hit the brakes, there we go. You see the thing stop. No, it's not even going. Oh, because, yeah. So this is front wheel drive with the script that the guy gave us. So I can stop the wheels, but I can't. I think my front wheels are now off in no man's land, so I can't move. Actually, so I'll pull the script up and we'll slide through it, and maybe it'll make it easier to kind of read in this video than it was elsewhere. It was easy enough to follow in his video, but he did it so iteratively, like you had to pan through the whole thing. Awesome video, by the way. Loved it. Here's the wheel collider. I think I changed just a couple things. I added some different comments for plans I wanted to do. Maybe change some names of variables. But here we go. But it's OBS slowing my frame right now. So we've got serialized fields for all the colliders and transforms. So these are the wheel colliders, and then the transformer, the actual mesh. And when I had the shuttle up, it didn't have wheels, so it just skipped over that without braking nicely. Acceleration and braking force by default, max turn angle of the cars, 15 by default, and then all that for calculation. In fixed update, we're just setting our current acceleration times acceleration for the acceleration times the vertical input. And what I would like to do is get my Xbox controller out and set this to like gas and brake triggers. Right now, the brakes is specifically on S. It's not on jump. It's on space. And so if the key is down, not like it went down once, but if I'm holding the key down, then it's get key instead of get key down. And I am applying 0 to the braking force. And these are just so awesome. So these are all just variables. Otherwise, current braking force is 0, so I'm not braking. And this is all stuff from the wheel collider. So the wheel collider, motor torque. Literally, I'm saying turn the wheel. That's how the car's going. So it's front, like I said, it's front wheel drive. So the front left and the front right, I'm applying the current acceleration times the torque, and we're going. It takes a while to spin up. You've got actual acceleration instead of just like 0 to 60. And then on all four wheels, so we've got anti-lock brakes or something. We've got four wheels worth of brakes. Then we're applying whatever the brake force is, which is usually 0. So we're fine. But if they're holding the space bar down, then we're applying that. And then for steering, we're getting the horizontal input times the max turn angle, which is right now 15, and applying those to the front and the front left and right wheels. You can make your car all-wheel drive, all-wheel turning, back wheel turning, just change these up, do some really dumb stuff. And then this part calls out a function that he had us make that just says, hey, update the wheel. And so it's giving the front right wheel collider and passing in the front right transform of the mesh. And then down here, it's just setting it all up. So it's getting the position and rotation of the collider and then setting that to the mesh. So the mesh is following what the collider is doing. So that's how it's turning and doing all the stuff. That's the script that he had us make with a few extra comments and things that I added in that I'm going to change later. Super cool. That might be kind of it. So we got cars, we got trailers. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my trailer and hide it. Take my hamster mobile and hide it, and I'll show you what dumb stuff I did with this. So I've got my car. That's a floating hovercraft instead. There's no wheels to turn, mesh wise, and I gave it a couple of different trailers, so I can tow myself. So there's a version of that same mesh with wheels on it. That it's hinge jointed up to right to the back there. You can see that little arrow, and it follows nice and smooth. This is what we want you to do. We want turning wheels and everything on your trailer, but this is just me acting dumb. So that was great. And then I also just threw in another trailer that has no wheels on it. So I'm towing this ship here, and it's dragging the ground. It's hitting. It's being weird. Actually, it's not dragging. It's just kind of pivoting. It's almost like a balloon, like I'm dragging a Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloon. But it's kind of funny, so I'm going to go ahead and set my camera to follow this guy. Show you what kind of nonsense can happen when we don't do it right. So he's just free swinging on the y-axis back there. I think I set the limit to like 45 instead of 30, and so I'm literally just dragging this guy like a balloon. It's kind of crazy. Or I could move him down and have him drag the ground and totally mess up everything. So it's like flooring the gas pedal. Your car's still not going to go faster until it reaches acceleration. Since we're literally applying torque to the wheels, we're applying more torque. At that point, we probably want to throw some smoke particles off of it because we're burning rubber. But it doesn't do a whole lot. But I can do that if you want. So we'll take this, set our acceleration to 5 million. It means eventually, with enough straight track, I could. This is increasing my top speed, but I haven't changed the mass of my vehicle. I haven't changed anything about the tires. So I'm just burning rubber until I can hit a higher acceleration speed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, WheelCollider does a lot of stuff for us. All right. Now that should be down closer to the ground and should. Okay. I'm going to change this manually here. So I'm going to move my camera back, So the follow offset, I'm going to set back to like -16. There we go. I'm going to go back to 18. All right. So it's still back there because it's only allowed to pivot on the Y. It's not scraping as much, but it is slowing me down and causing other issues. Anyway, goofy stuff. I can take this guy and change his hinge. Right. So this is super goofy. Don't ever do this. I mean, in real life. So I'm going to allow him to move fully in all directions. We'll keep it at a limit of 45 so it doesn't flip around on us. But we've got full movement now on all axes. So let's see what kind of nonsense that creates. Instead of being confined to the X or the Y. Oh, and I did that in edit mode. So I'm going to pull my camera back again to a -20. You see it's already like tilting a little bit. Now it's actually scraping. Yeah. So at some point the physics actually like kind of work. I think my wheels went through the ground again. Yeah, hinge joints are super cool. So one thing I would like to suggest that we do with hinge joints. So we want to use the hinge joint to tow a trailer. We could also. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna save this scene, and I'm gonna pop into my other scene that I'd set up. We'll start over there. So I took the Polygon City. I just hid all the cars because they were in the way. And I can drag any car I want in here from my prefabs. So let's go with the Hamstermobile again. He's all set up, so he should be good. I'm just going to do the Cinemachine camera thing again. So Cinemachine, create virtual, and then I just want to tell it to follow the Hamstermobile again. And we'll go up to like 4, and we'll do like -12. Okay, so we should all be good. Just make sure this works. I'll show you another thing we can do with hinges. I don't have it as a requirement yet, but I thought it was a cool idea, so I'm going to see if it works. Yep, I was afraid of that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Hamstermobile, lock the scale. Let's go like 0.5 all the way down. A lot of hamsters in there. Oof. Okay, so camera still works. I didn't set up the colliders on it, but we're fine. But we could do like obstacles with the joints. I linked the whole. No, I think I just linked the hinge joints. There's hinge joints. There's spring joints. There's character joints. There's a customizable joint. There's a fixed joint. There's all kinds of cool things we can do with these. So the spring joint might be fun, or the hinge joint, and we can just set up like gates using some physics, and like when we go through it, blast the gates open, and they'll just kind of come back to where they live. Trash can. Yeah, I think it's been thrown out. Yeah, it'll grow back. I've leveled the playing field for No Shave November. Yeah, yeah, we're started from the bottom, and now we'll see what happens by Thanksgiving. Basically, yeah. This might be day one of me growing my next Gandalf beard. So anyway, let me just see. I want to find the video. and link it on the canvas. But we could just do. I'm gonna make a cube. Scale it and move it. Let's see if this works. I haven't done this before, so we're in uncharted territory, as we should be. All right, I'm going to add a hinge joint, and I wonder if I can just do this without even giving it a parent. Might be interesting. No connected body. Let me move the anchor. So it's there. I want to make sure the hinge is moving on Y in this case and not on X. So I just want a swinging gate that I can hit and knock around. So there's the hinge. Good question. I think they just have less. I don't know. Let's look and see. Sometimes we get cool, helpful tools. Nope, nothing here. I did link the documentation for this, so that's definitely something to look up. I'm curious. Oh, you can kind of see like how it pivots, that little guy. But I'm going to move my anchor. There we go. I want to go over here. And it added a rigid body is when I added the hinge joint, which was kind of cool. And I wonder if I just give it this building or something. You know what? Just to be sure, I'm going to go ahead and I'll make the make other objects. I'm going to create a nice cylinder. Post. Because without a parent, I think the rigid body physics would kick in and the gate would just fall to the ground. All right, so we got that guy. We'll give him a rigid body. But we're gonna set him to kinematic, so he can't move unless we move him or script moves him. Okay, and then we'll take my gate here, pull it down some, and then I will tell it about the cylinder being its parent. So connected body is there. And that's good, it's in front of my car. All right, let's test this. What hath we wrought? Should. Okay, well, we didn't impact it very long, but it's there. Come on, get back over there. There's my rearview mirror. Oh, it swung all the way back. But anyway, with no code, like just using the hinge joint, now we got like this weird gate that can flop around, and we can set its limits. We can have it spring back. So I'm gonna say use spring, and I think it'll spring back into place now. Lots of dumb stuff. So please experiment with other joints. I don't have it in the rubric, but I'll just probably add that to experiment with some different joints besides just on the trailer. Like use a hinge joint for something else, or try to use a spring joint or something. And then again, this guy with his non-audio 9-minute film will show you how to make a different scene to select your cars, and then it basically just saves an index number that we pass into the next scene. The only thing that will be different, and I'll try to make a note and post something here in the Canvas or on the Discord. The only thing different that we'll need to do is we will need to tell when we get to our new scene after we've selected a car, we just need to set up the Cinema Machine camera to follow whatever car we selected. Does that make sense? So like on start in our game manager, we'll say, hey, which car do we activate? Okay, Cinema Machine camera, follow this. Hmm? What do you mean video? Oh, no. So in the video, he's literally writing the PlayerPrefs. Yeah, so he's just writing the index to PlayerPrefs, loading the new scene. Then the scene looks and says, what car am I supposed to load? It's kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's an interesting cheat. Yeah, it's easy. So yes, exactly. And then, yeah, you can just, it remembers your favorite car when you come back. All right, that's our assignment. Questions? Comments? Concerns? Never wanted to see a shirtless Scooby in my life, but here we are. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. So literally, so here, right click, prefab, unpack. Yeah, that's the thing. And I think you can do that if you do it from the root. I think you can do that in prefab mode as well. Like you can't do it from down here. I don't think. Yeah, it's not going to do that. But if you go to the root while you're in prefab mode, I think you should be able to unpack it. Apparently, it's not going to let me do it now. But I've done it before. Anyway, come out here and unpack and then go back. Making the wheels heavier makes the car faster. Whoa. Here we go. Yeah.
And still, I'm glad to see it still holds up.
Yeah, it's living. It's living the best life. Huh? Oh, they're kind of fun. They're a pain in the butt.
They are a pain in the butt.
All right. So I'm going to change all four at a time. Change the mass of the wheels. What did you? How? Okay.
Okay then.
From 20 to 2,000 because we want to make sure that the numbers we changed did something.
Always.
Apparently your domain doesn't want to upload.
Apparently.
Also, apparently, I scaled a box collider negatively. So, oops. Yeah.
I think you make yours go faster. I don't know. Maybe the mass is tempered on your actual car. You're shaking.
Yeah. We're coming apart.
I think it takes longer to speed up, but then once you get going, it gets faster.
I guess they have to do
Donk. Yes. All right.
I think the wheels have to be heavier than the mass.
They are.
They are?
Yeah.
Maybe make it
So
smaller. My car is 200 and the wheels are 600.
Okay, so I'm at 1,000, and I can set my wheels to 20,000. Yeah, I misspelled dabbing. That's exactly it. Yeah, these wheels are freaking out with that kind of mass.
It's making it heavy. You know what it is? Your acceleration isn't high enough, probably.
Ah.
I have mine at 10,000. And then your hinge joint is reversed. Yeah.
What do you mean reversed?
So it's like you're going in like this, and it's only able to turn that far, and it's able to turn all 180 the other way. So that's why it's doing that. So you have it set at like a 270
Yeah.
with the small half being forward. So that's why it's just stopping right there.
It's fun. Anyway, dun, 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 acceleration. Dude, plays with the monster machines. Yeah, that's what we should do. I legit tried to find a Batmobile for this, and I couldn't really find one that was any good.
Oh yeah, I have a question, but it's not really about the project.
Okay.
Who do you think wins between Bowser and Eggman?
Oh, it's definitely Bowser.
Bowser?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Eggman has more red. I
Yeah.
have to go Eggman.
Insta kill.
I have to change my.
Actually, he has more red.
He has more red.
He's got red robots. He's got red clothes.